John Olver, the person, is as important as John Olver, the politician. The words that come to mind: dedicated, hardworking, no pizzazz, down to earth, friendly, detail-oriented. John, are you going to keep calling me at home asking why the train speed varies between segments? Persistent and results-driven. He's also surrounded himself with a staff of the best and the brightest, who I think of extensions of my staff, and I hope they think the same of me. People that have the same fine attributes, as well as being very smart, hardworking people. John, we thank you and salute you for your service. Come January, when you retire, we're going to miss you a lot. But when you step down, I think the thing that you can think of is that the legacy you've left behind will live on and on. All those projects are going to be there for decades, benefiting me and all of you and people that are not yet in this room. Thank you, and please come up and receive the award.
Because of your hard work and the hard work of your staff and the commission and everybody in this room, you have made the Pioneer Valley a better place. So, well, again, my congratulations to you. Thank you again very much for your award. I appreciate it, and appreciate your kind words.
It was pretty apparent to me that Judge Peck's leadership and handiwork had taken hold, and a culture of cooperation was beginning to be built. We had 40 or 43 communities as members. We had a dozen technical reports that had gotten strong positive reviews out on the street. We secured a handful of federal grants. We really had a sense that the organization had gelled and we're underway. The real test for me, however, came in 1974. And my story is that the test of whether this proposition really was going to be successful came up with a then Speaker of the House, a guy by the name of Dave Bartley, crafted legislation to create regional transit authorities. And our job was to go see if we could get one created. 74, we created the PVTA. It has 24 member communities, transports 11.3 million people a year, has a fleet of 174 buses, 150 some odd vans. It makes the region, particularly the ones that are mobility impaired, they don't have the luxury necessarily of vehicle, move. So I think what Judge Peck and his founding fathers created has proven to be sound, to be strong, and to be stable. Judge, it took us 50 years to figure this out. But I think it's about time we said thank you. Please come up and be thanked.
The only problem that I see now is that the communities take everything for granted from the commission. And the commission has accomplished wonders on its own by getting grants from the federal government and even from private sources. So that I think you should probably hope that the communities will recognize the value of planning and pay their fair share of the expenses that go along with the planning process. But thank you very much for all your wonderful work.
somehow Dora has found a way, being busy with her own duties, her own very, very talented and thoughtful staff, to help us out too. She's tackled issues like the region-wide effort to end homelessness, the effort that launched Leadership Pioneer Valley. And not a week ago, we had 42 young men and women graduate in the first class. Buy and bring books to kids who have never seen a book in their life. And becoming a direct partner in our cross-border Knowledge Corridor project, which has enabled us to reach people who one of my colleagues calls the unusual suspects, the people that never get asked questions, never get asked about what priorities should happen. So I've come to think of Dora as regional collaborator extraordinaire. And I think most of you have spent any time with her would readily agree with me. Dora, please come up and be thanked.
And I can't say enough about Leadership Pioneer Valley. I mean, what an extraordinary honor to have served on the steering committee with Dave and Laura and all of the others. And thank God for the Pioneer Valley Regional Commission for stepping up and agreeing to serve as the lead agency and to help create resources for this important program for young men and women who are regional leaders that will carry on the work that many of us, as I look around, will eventually retire from. So with that said, I accept this recognition on behalf of the United Way, Board of Directors, leadership team, all of my associates, and the volunteers, all of those of you who are donors and supporters and advocates. And we encourage you to live united. Give, advocate, and volunteer. Thank you.
I want to tell you that I particularly admired and respected Carlos because when it ever came to issues of equity, fairness, opportunity, he was fearless. He asked the best questions. He pushed the hardest. Why don't we have quality schools in the urban core? Why do we have to have so many dropouts? Why can't we have more jobs for lower skilled, lower income folks here in the community? When are we going to relearn in this country that immigrants are an asset? I thought perhaps I wouldn't have the good fortune to have someone to pass this award to, that I would just be able to tell you about him. And many of you know him. And I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't already know. But happily, that's not the case. We have two of his most special people with us to be able to be here as we honor his life and honor his career. His daughter, Rebecca Fletcher, and his best friend, Sylvia Galvin. And I've asked them to come forward to receive this award for Carlos.
I'm Rebecca, and this is Sylvia. And my mother would have loved to have been here. She's out of state on business and couldn't make it. But our family wants to express our tremendous appreciation for you guys honoring Carlos in this way.
Thank you so much.
First of all, happy birthday, hefty 50th birthday. And I don't know if you know this, but in order to continue Carlos's legacy, in 2010, the Carlos Vega Fund for Social Justice was established. And in March of this year, the first round of mini grants were awarded to 5 local organizations, including Homework House and the Holyoke Equal Rights Association. And that was Carlos Vega's last public appearance. This has been, in a way, an effort with the Community Foundation of Western Massachusetts, which I know all of you know of. So whenever you have 5 more cents to give, please send it to the Carlos Vegas Fund for Social Justice. Carlos and I used to call each other siblings. We knew each other for, wow, over 30 years. And the joke was that we were siblings from different parents. He was from Ecuador, I am from Mexico. So we never could really figure it out what happened. But I'm very, very glad and proud that he called me his best friend. Thank you very much for his recognition.
She's met with hundreds, if not thousands, on educating historic preservation and its importance through many, many, many evening meetings and many weekend workshops and even national conferences. Now, for those of you who know Bonnie, some of you may relate to what I'm about to say. There are leaders who leave legacies. There are leaders who build monuments. There are leaders who leave memories. And then there are leaders by doing, by dedicating, by embracing, and by truly working for what they believe in. Bonnie Parsons.
I would like to thank you, Jim, very, very much, and Tim and Dick, and the commissioners, and then I see faces from the communities that I've been working in the last 20 years, and I thank you as well for your support. This award means a great deal to me. I don't have quite the perspective that some of you do on the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, but I do have my 20 years of working with the staff and seeing your work, and I have a few reflections I want to give you about yourselves. Be careful. Now, number one, you are so smart. I see the work that you put out, and I am amazed at the quality and the intelligence that goes into your work. It would be just regular work, but you put a creativity into it that always amazes me. I see things and I think, how did she ever think of that? How did he ever put that together? So you're all very creative, as well as being very, very smart. The other thing is you're hardworking. There's not a slacker among you. And the last thing to say is that all of this would make you fine workers and fine staff to have worked with. But there's one last quality that I think is very, very important, and that is your professional and your personal generosity. Among the staff, you are so generous to each other and have been to me. And in the communities, you work so hard for the people that you are planning for. And I think that that's what raises the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission above the general level, is those 4 qualities, but especially your generosity. And I feel very lucky to have been able to work among you. And I thank you.